how's it? So I have another quick video here on Unraid, specifically on how to store your video game files from like Steam and Origin and Uplay and things like that on your network share or on your Unraid share. This could theoretically work for any share. It doesn't have to be for Unraid. That's just what we're using here today. Now, if you've ever tried to install a game from like Uplay or Origin or Epic Games, will know that Windows doesn't really like you, or those specific launchers, and sometimes Windows specifically doesn't really like you installing certain applications and things like that onto shares directly. Now there are certain ways to like jump around it and get it to think that a drive, or at least a network share, is a drive, but those are much more painful, and I prefer this way. So first what you'll want to do is, and unfortunately I don't have my Windows VM up here, so I'll just have to show you some pictures, but the crux of the hardest part is creating the virtual hard drive, or the VHD, specifically a vhdx, but we'll get into that later. And that's very easy, and there are dozens of videos, but that's not really the meat and potatoes here. Well, in a way it kind of is. So what you'll want to do is, in your Windows File Explorer, you'll want to mount your share. That's very easy to do. You just right click on network and click mount share or something like that. After that, you'll want to go into your disk management or your partition manager or something like that. If you just type in format, it'll probably pop up with this application. And what you'll want to do is you want to click here where it's been highlighted, and these aren't my snips, I just took them from a website that I'll link below in case you need any help setting up this VHD or more detail on it. So you create this VHD. This is the next slide here, and then you give your VHD a little file name, and you save type as, and you make sure there's a little vhdx here. You can give it any name that you want. Here it says create and attach, so you set your location. This is really the meat and potatoes. You set your location to be the network share. That's it. That's the whole thing. You create this vhdx, and you'll see here it says a maximum of 64 terabytes. So you might as well just set this to 64 terabytes because it won't actually consume that amount of space. It'll grow to that maximum. It'll just start off empty, like an empty hard drive. Then you'll want to initialize the disk so that you can put a partition on it. This is just standard partition management stuff. Put a new simple volume on there, set the volume size. You could break it up if you want to, like if you wanted a drive for each different game location or whatever. Personally, I just set it as one, and that's for all of the things. This is just the entire process of setting it up, what it's called, its file system and everything like that. Like I said, there are plenty of guides on how to set up the vhdx, and I'll link one down below for more details. This is just a quick video and more of the idea. This is what I do personally for when my Windows machine was operational. I had a network share with one of these vhdx's, not a VHD, because that has a fixed size. You choose what it is and it'll never grow beyond that. You'll probably want to install games, and maybe if you uninstall a few older games and they're left with some free space, you'll want that to shrink back down. So yes, definitely go with the vhdx. In either this slide here or this slide here, wherever it is specifically. And make sure you put it on your share. You'll probably see the share listed here somewhere, and it won't complain at all about you just clicking it. Just click on that, save it in the share. You can click on network there, and it will probably be listed if you've already mounted it. And yeah, now you should be able to install basically any video game on a network share. Now to mount these, you just go into the file path, the mounted path of the share where you stored the virtual hard drive. You right click on it. See, you'll see it here listed in your share. You right click on it and you click mount, and it'll mount it. Now sometimes you can get an error where it's like, oh, this drive is in use or something like that, unless you have a separate array in your server or something like that for video games. That's beside the point. I had a command that you could type to prevent that pop-up from happening, to kill that process, but it's gone missing. So if I remember it, or if I find it floating around somewhere, I'll post it on my website, and I'll list my website and the command both below the like and subscribe buttons.